the fiddle won out over the piano and the guitar. Is a fiddle? It appears to me that a fiddle with no frets would be a lot harder to play than a guitar or another instrument.
It absolutely is. And people say, how do you play it in tune? Well, I'm still trying to learn how to play it in tune. I mean, it's a never-ending job. And as you get older and your fingers get a little arthritic and they get crooked, it becomes a challenge once again, and you don't hear as well as you used to. But yeah, playing
so it's not that you don't memorize. You just have a feel for where that note is on there. You just know where the note is.
That's supposed to be the way it works. Obviously, you don't nail it every time, and you have to listen very carefully and try to make split-second corrections.
Well, did you hear the joke, the old story about the guy? He only had one string on his guitar, and he only hit the one string, the one note, bing, 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 bing. And he said, "What are you doing that for?" He said, "Well, look, all those other guys are looking for it. I found it." Now, you were influenced at an early age. I think you told Earl Friedenberg, Benny Martin had an influence on you.
Yeah. When we were going to Macaulay, we discovered the Grand Ole Opry. And I heard the Bill Monroe group play in the late 40s, and it just set me on fire. And I heard, it was maybe hillbilly or country music wasn't coined at that time, and neither was bluegrass coined at that time. Old time, but I listened to Bill Monroe and his Bluegrass Boys, and it just absolutely set me.
When you heard that music, you knew, there was no doubt, that's what I'm.
I said, I want to be able to do that. Now, there were challenges, a lot of them, because we didn't have television. We couldn't see what they were doing. We heard Earl Scruggs on the 5-string banjo when he first came with Bill Monroe.
Yeah.
And I had a tape, I've lost it now, I'm sure, of when Earl first played on the Grand Ole Opry, and they just went wild. Had to play an encore. But we heard all those notes streaming out of that banjo, and we didn't know how in the world it was happening. We decided, though, we liked the banjo. So what did we do? We went down to a pawn shop, and Ainsley Moses was one of our band members. Of course, you taped him singing. So we walked into a pawn shop there on 9th Street, now MLK, and said we wanted to buy a banjo. So we did, and it turned out it was a tenor banjo. We didn't know the difference. We just bought it, took it home. And of course, that was a dead-end street. We couldn't make it work. Finally, we got a 5-string banjo, and we couldn't figure out, the picks and the 3-finger style. It took us a long time to break into it.